Before this video begins, I just want to warn everybody, Rhythm Doctor features flashing lights and colors, so please use caution if you have experience with epilepsy or any of its symptoms. Rhythm Doctor is a rhythm game. Welcome to What's Up With, a series where I talk about corners of life that aren't talked about enough. And what's better for a first episode for a channel about games and music than Rhythm Doctor, a game where you heal patients by defibrillating in time with their heartbeats. The core of the game is that you press space on the 7th beat of the song and you'll catch the heartbeat or something. I don't really know. And it'll keep it from hitting the heart and cracking it. Crack it too much and a little birdie gets revealed to show you that you fucked up. Your goal is to catch every beat so that you can stabilize your patients. I'm going to avoid story spoilers as much as possible, but there will be gameplay spoilers outside of that one level, you know, the one if you played it. So if you want to experience the game for yourself, you should go play the game and then come back. I'm not gonna lie, when I first got the game, I was a little skeptical. Here's some footage of me playing the first level during my 12-hour stream the other day, and yeah, it's really not much. At least I know how to count to 7 in Chinese now. Especially for musicians or anyone interested in music more than a snail, which is probably everyone getting a rhythm game, it doesn't really present a challenge. At some point, it switches up and shows you that it's not necessarily always going to be on the 7th beat of the song, and rather the 7th beat since it starts counting. But even then, that isn't very difficult. I thought I'd play a few more levels and then refund it before Steam's 2-hour limit on refunds. Here's the thing though. Every single level afterwards brings with it a new mechanic, which is really fast-paced for a game like this. Ignoring the night levels, which get unlocked when you clear a level with a high enough letter grade, you slowly get introduced to more mix-ups, pushing spacebar on the 2nd beat instead of the 7th, tempo changes of the beat, swing, multiple patients, holding the button, and way more. Each time I beat a level, it made me look forward to what was coming next until about 4 hours had passed and I had beaten the entire early access game in one sitting. So, what makes it so different? Surprisingly, I'm actually not a huge fan of rhythm games. I've played Osu with friends, but I can't seem to get myself to grind out stages to memorize them enough to actually play them well. So I just sit around 4 stars where I can play them off my, supreme gamer reflexes. I enjoy DDR once in a while, and I play taiko drums in arcades, but generally I don't spend a lot of time on them. At the risk of sounding kind of unhinged, Rhythm Doctor is more of a thinking man's rhythm game than a memorization/reflex one. You could definitely just memorize where all the beats hit, but it's more than possible to perfect every level based on the audio and visual cues, even if it's the first time you play them. Personally, as a musician, it really made me use the music side of my brain to think about all these lines at once, so I could keep track of each individual line and how they interacted with each other, as well as when they'd land on the yellow spacebar push zone. It kind of reminds me of Rhythm Heaven, and we haven't really had a game like that in a while, so I was really actually intrigued about the rest of the game once I realized what it was. My personal favorite level right now is the current credits level, which is not in a meter you'd expect it to be for you music nerds out there, especially for something that's supposed to be a send-off to the early access game. But since I'm trying to keep this relatively spoiler-free, I won't be showing it here. Outside of that, and how ridiculously satisfying it is to get the beat correct because of the audio and visual effect overload, Rhythm Doctor does a great job at doing something medical games recently either don't even try to do or completely fail at doing. And that's making you subscribe and hit that like. Jokes aside, I'm starting to be more active on socials and content creation as a whole, so I would really appreciate it if you could help with growth and outreach by doing both, following on other socials linked below, and then leaving a comment about how much you hate call to actions more than I do, which you don't. Anyways, Rhythm Doctor actually makes me care about the patients I'm treating. A lot of medical games recently have a series of nameless patients that come in and out, and your only real goal is to treat them as well as possible before instantly moving on to the next patient. Patients in Rhythm Doctor return in future levels and build their story and character development to the point where you really want to see that bunch of pixels get better and feel terrible whenever you miss a beat. The The game also helps you relate to the actual doctors working at the hospital outside of your floating arm that's working remotely. Although not all of us are medical students, most of us can relate to being overworked, not knowing if what you decided to do is worth it or what you really wanted the whole time, and generally just being stressed the fuck out. Medical students in particular have commented about having the game's story really resonate with them, and musicians in particular can also find a mirror in Cold Brew, a musician that stresses out constantly about his art form and can't seem to create without way too much coffee. Also, can we take a moment to talk about the amount of puns in this game? You might have drawn the mental line between Cold Brew the coffee addict and Cold Brew coffee, or Nicole Ting the smoking addict and nicotine, but did you see the name of the hospital? Yeah, 7th Beat Games is going crazy with that. So why am I talking about a rhythm game that hasn't gotten more story levels in a year and a half now? Well, in that time, they've made a custom level editor that is absolutely crazy, the collaboration level with another early access rhythm game called Unbeatable, and 3 whole collaboration levels with Muse Dash, but if that didn't convince you to get the game, they actually just recently tweeted that they'd be updating the early access again with Chapter 5 very soon, and then the full release after that, which I'm super hyped for. For a $16 rhythm game, Rhythm Doctrine does way more than it really has any right to, even with it being in early access. I think it's the first rhythm game in a while that made me really feel motivated to perfect every single level, and simultaneously makes me completely confused about what's going on. I mean, look at this. Yeah, I don't know either. Hey guys, thanks for watching. This was my attempt at a more serious type of video, so let me know how you feel about it. Maybe I'll add some more jokes next time, I don't know. I hope I've convinced at least some of you to try out the game though, because I've been spamming it to all of my friends forever now, and I need more people to advertise it to. If you're interested in seeing me attempt to beat the game blindfolded, I'll probably be working through that on my Twitch starting next week, where I stream games and music production 9 to 12 p.m. EST on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Also, if you have anything you want me to cover next, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on Sundays in the next video.
Get